Today, we're diving into a popular post from the Reddit titled as, "Wife complains I don't clean while I cook, so I proceed to sparkle the kitchen instead of making dinner." This post received 6229 upvotes. Posted by 1MMOFF. The post reads as follows. Been a bit of a reader. Thought I'd share something from a few months back. I, 33M, often do the cooking at home, including the washing up that happens after. My wife, 34F, does not usually cook. We established that by our second date years ago. I love her to bits, but she is a culinary disaster and time and sweat has failed to make improvements. It is a lost battle. The sequence of dinner prep usually starts as soon as I finish work. This involves chopping meat, vegetables, and rounding up anything that was previously marinated or thawed. This is immediately followed by cooking, and then serving, to be eaten hot. It seems logical to me that meals should be enjoyed while they are fresh, and cleaning up can wait. Especially if the kitchen is not being used by anyone else in the interim. I am also the one who normally does the washing after everyone has eaten, and I wash all the cutlery and cooking prep stuff in the same process. This is done while my wife settles our toddler into bed. I prefer this setup, because I can get all the washing done in one go, and everyone can eat their meals at the same time together while it is fresh. I do not like washing the pans, pots, wok after cooking and before eating. My wife, however, seems to get annoyed at this. Every now and then while I am cooking, if she walks in she will start complaining. Making notes that I should pack this and that up. That I should clean the board while waiting for the stir-fry to finish. Sometimes, there is literally no downtime for certain dishes, especially with several to serve before it gets too late for the toddler. To be clear, I certainly clean some things as I go. Especially when it concerns raw meat, or things that need to go back into the fridge. I'll wipe down if there's any offensive spills. But for things like chopping boards, certain empty packages, or condiments, I will leave them on the benchtop until I am done, or when I am washing up. Things that I feel don't pose risks or have any urgency to be put away, other than making the kitchen look tidy during cooking. Happy to be proven wrong. Anyway, one day for whatever reason my wife got real snarky at me because I left the chopping board out next to the pans, saying it's not hard to clean as I cook. Whatever, fine. So for the next meal, I made sure to clean everything I touched as I started my meal prep. I had already made sure the little one had her dinner, so there's no harm in drawing this out. Need to open that can of pasta sauce? Better wash down the can opener and dry it before we start. Gotta wipe down the whole kitchen top too. Oops, dropped a garlic clove. I'd better give the whole kitchen floor a good scrub. Is that a bit of charred residue on the stove? Okay. Better degrease the entire area. You get my drift. Wife has put the little one to sleep by now. So 3 hours later, the kitchen is sparkling. Literally. Pasta has not entered water, and the sauce materials have not touched the pan. Wife asks where's dinner? I tell her I haven't started cooking because I still need to clean the fridge. There were some stains under the tomato tray. She went back to bed. I still cooked and packed her lunch. I've not been harassed since. Edit. There's no expectation for my wife to clean. I've made it clear that I'm happy to do it, as I clean up messes I make. We split our duties, so she spends that time on other things that need attention around the house. TLDR. Wife complains I don't clean while I cook. I prefer to clean after I cook. Next meal. No one gets dinner and the kitchen is extra sparkly. User Ralph Magnum says, my wife and I both cook and we have a stay out of the kitchen if one is cooking, unless you're called to help rule. If she's cooking, I don't need to go bother her. She does her own thing. If I am cooking, she doesn't need to come bother me. I do things my way. Sounds like you need to adopt that rule. This comment received 4278 upvotes. A comment from user Wavy Glass says, we take turns cooking. I'm the type who cleans as I go, resulting in a clean kitchen before we eat. My husband cleans a bit while cooking but the bulk is done after we eat. The stay out of my kitchen and mind your business rule works for us. This comment received 402 upvotes. A reply from the original author 1MMOFF says, "Really happy for you. I think the end result is what matters. Everyone is fed, and the kitchen is tidy when the night is wrapped up." This reply received 62 upvotes. A comment from user protagonist says, "A good rule for spouses is, you can tell me what to do or how to do it, but not both." This comment received 1831 upvotes. A reply from the original author 1MMOFF says, "If I have a very particular way of doing things, I'll just opt to do it myself instead of asking my wife to do it. Don't want peg marks on my nice polo shirt? No problem. I'll flip it inside out myself and hang it my way. But I sure as hell wouldn't ask my wife to do it." This reply received 37 upvotes. A comment from user Valkyrie8118 says, "If my partner is happy to cook and clean up after, there is no way I am sticking my nose in and upsetting what is really a very good deal." This comment received 204 upvotes. A comment from user Leo Solaris says, "If you have the time and energy to complain, you can get to work doing something about it. If you're not involved in the task, keep your unasked for opinions to yourself." This comment received 675 upvotes. A comment from user dependent aside 9750 says, "Please come to my house and cook dinner. I, too, would love to make you angry and end up with a clean kitchen." Winking face. This comment received 273 upvotes. A reply from the original author 1MMOFF says, "Lol. While it was a lot of effort expended, I felt it was worth it to make my point. It's also our own home, so any effort pays forward to the pride in keeping our own place tidy." This reply received 131 upvotes. A comment from user ethereal_light says, "If you don't do the chore, you shut up about how it's done as long as it gets done. Simple. Otherwise she's welcome to do it herself." This comment received 321 upvotes. A comment from user Jack's Magic Man says, "I have a rule in my house. You can do it how you want, or let me do it how I want. You cannot tell me how I should do it, if I'm the one doing it. We established it at the beginning and it has worked fine." This comment received 32 upvotes. A comment from user ownlemon8708 says, "Clean as you go doesn't mean finishing dishes before eating. I'm 100% with you on eating the fresh hot meal together, but also cleaning as you go. But as soon as it's ready, any remaining cleanup will wait till after. Does anyone else actually take clean as you go to mean finishing cleanup before eating?" This comment received 36 upvotes. A comment from user Erdic Wolf says, "I had a similar issue with my wife. Figured out the problem as I didn't do a task, chore the way she would do it, or would do it by a different process or do things in a different order than she would. Since I didn't do it the way she would, she felt like I wasn't doing it right. Through some open communication and pointing out that the task still got done well and in a reasonable time, the overall problem was solved. To this day we both remind each other sometimes that we do things differently and it is the result that matters, not necessarily how you achieve it." This comment received 35 upvotes. A reply from the original author 1MMOFF says, "Sounds like you've got things worked out pretty well. We're usually good on the other things, and acknowledge we each do things differently to get the same end result. This one has just didn't seem to sink in until that dinner. It could be because she hardly cooks complex dishes, and this is an unfamiliar domain to her. When she does, she puts everything all at once into the same pan on high heat. Probably why she can't relate to why I have to use so many things, and why I can't clean them as I cook." This reply received 29 upvotes. A comment from user Lucky_Hooligan says, "Is she resentful that you're so busy cleaning up the kitchen that she's on her own for the bedtime routine with the kids?" This comment received 61 upvotes. A reply from the original author 1MMOFF says, "We've discussed, and it isn't an issue. Sometimes I'll get through half of the cleanup and she'll ask if she can swap with me. No problem at all there either. Sometimes I postpone the cleanup, so the little one gets bath and story time with me. Either way, I still make sure the kitchen is clean before I go into bed. I expect no one to clean up after my mess. Edit. Typo. This reply received 47 upvotes. A comment from user Conradimus says, "Good for you. She could spend the time she uses criticizing and directing you to just do what she says and help, considering she doesn't ever cook and also doesn't clean up from the cooking." This comment received 132 upvotes. A reply from the original author 1MMOFF says, "To be fair, we share our duties. So while I cook and clean, she might be looking after the little one or doing the laundry. So there's no expectation for her to clean, and I am happy with that as long as she doesn't add to the problem. I'll stay out of her duties as well. Sometimes she will voluntarily clean, then I get an extra earful. Honey, don't tell me there's grease in the damn pan. I know there is. I've literally just finished cooking. I'm going to get to it in 5 minutes and it's going to kill nobody sitting there. I certainly didn't ask you to go in there now and clean it." This reply received 123 upvotes. A comment from user Bepoli says, "Okay, aside from the relationship aspect, it really is worthwhile to get into the habit of cleaning as you go. It makes everything a lot easier when you're done. Done with the colander and pasta pot? Easy rinse and dry, set aside. Empty packages get thrown away immediately. Spills get wiped up. I'm not scrubbing anything or putting cleaning before serving, but it's nice to come back to a mostly clean kitchen after you eat because you already did most of it while you were cooking. Every kitchen worker can attest that it's the only way to stay on top of your workspace during service. You literally can't let things pile up because you have to keep going." Source: food service worker for many years, expected to sanitize and reset prep spaces constantly. This comment received 101 upvotes. A comment from user North of Uptown Kai says, "My take is that if you enjoy being married, imposing malicious compliance on your spouse isn't the best way to strengthen the marriage. Call me weird." This comment received 36 upvotes. A comment from user Rokokoman says, "My husband is pretty good about sharing the cooking and cleaning. Like, I am shocked he feels genuinely happy to help. Is everything he does up to my standards? No. But holy shoot, I found the rare partner that isn't a lazy piece of shit. We always cut each other slack. I can let things go because I'm happy it's getting done and I didn't have to axe. And it's always going to have to be done again eventually. No matter how well you clean a kitchen, you're going to have to do it again tomorrow. So don't sweat it. Tell each other you appreciate them and everything they do for you." This comment received 23 upvotes. A reply from the original author 1MMOFF says, "Really happy you've got a wonderful partner. My wife is generally really good on sharing the overall workload. Certainly no complaints from me about her willingness. I definitely let her know how much I appreciate everything, even the little things. I suspect this one comes up because her cooking style is completely different to mine, and might be difficult to relate to. She is the kind that will use one board, one knife, and one pot on one temperature to cook food that will last 3 meals." This reply received 14 upvotes. A comment from user no_moose_4448 says, "I wonder if this is really the issue. You say you clean while your wife puts your toddler to bed. Is it possible her reason for wanting you to clean as you go is because she wants help with the toddler?" This comment received 53 upvotes. A reply from the original author 1MMOFF says, "We've discussed, and this isn't a problem. Anytime she wants me to help the toddler, she is very open about it. That could involve a chore swap. She takes over the cleaning, or I postpone the cleaning." This reply received 4 upvotes. A comment from user easy_bedroom 4053 says, "People seem to not realize clean as you go means putting the butter back in the fridge after you get what you need instead of leaving it on the bench, taking a second to wipe up a spill, or rinsing the colander, etc. By the time you get to the end, I usually just have the pan, etc. And serving utensils, with the plates you eat off. Clean as you go is not cooking a banging hot meal, leaving it to go cold as you spend 15 minutes putting away stuff you could have done whilst the meat was searing, etc." This comment received 16 upvotes. A comment from user Happily Gone Lucky says, "Y'all are aware spouses are supposed to like each other, right?" This comment received 15 upvotes. A comment from user Yufi says, "I mean, that would certainly annoy me too. I have family members that do this and it's just so unnecessary. Leaving stuff on the top when the bin is right there . Leaving stuff all over when it could just be put straight in the sink or dishwasher or whatever. But if she is not doing any cooking then she doesn't really need the space, and if she's not cleaning then she can't really dictate how you do it. I personally couldn't sit and relax and eat if I knew I'd left the kitchen a mess and would have yo deal with it later though. But if it works for you then it works for you." This comment received 22 upvotes. A reply from the original author 1MMOFF says, "My thinking is that in the time between when I am cooking and when everyone's finished eating, no one is going into the kitchen. So it shouldn't really bother anyone. I am unfazed by dealing with it later. I feel that whether I deal with it now or later, I still end up doing it anyway and by the same deadline. The difference being whether I get to eat a hot or cold meal. Understandably, everyone is different and I wouldn't force anyone else to do it my way." This reply received 6 upvotes. A comment from user Bree Turtleflea says, "As a parent to a toddler, my guess is that your wife is not actually communicating her real issue to you. The bedtime routine is a serious grind, and if my husband and I didn't trade off sometimes, I would totally lose my shit. I'm wondering if your wife resents that she's always the one putting the toddler to bed, and thinks that if you cleaned as you went, you would be able to trade places with her. Which, okay, fair, but complaining about how you clean is not the same as telling you she's burnt out from bedtime. It's a shitty thing for her to do, regardless. Especially when you put so much work into feeding your family. Sorry. Op." This comment received 13 upvotes. A comment from user Purplework says, "Full extrapolation from your short story, so sorry if this isn't the case, but sounds like she needs help with the toddler after dinner and you are cleaning kitchen instead." This comment received 10 upvotes. A comment from user Taz068 says, "I had a girlfriend like this. I would buy everything, cook and then clean everything. Normally this would entail running from the kitchen to the grill outside sweating my ass off, Central Florida, while she sat on the patio drinking vodka. Drove me absolutely nuts." This comment received 23 upvotes. A comment from user 123 Kong 123 says, "I'm of two minds with this. On the one hand, you offered her the choice of a clean kitchen or a communal supper. Good on you. On the other hand, some people don't know how to volunteer, so their mind defaults to complaint. Be kind and help her learn by asking her to do some little cleaning or cooking task every time she comes near the kitchen. She will either begin to help with meals or stay the heck out of your domain. Win, win." This comment received 23 upvotes. A reply from the original author 1MMOFF says, "I would prefer that she takes the time to relax, instead of helping me clean. Being a mother is a tough job, and I respect her for that. She didn't ask for a 5-star meal. I simply decided to give her one. It wouldn't be fair to have her clean up all the doodads involved to make it. I just want to be left to my own devices to clean up my own mess. The conflict here is that she doesn't really understand the difficulty of combining cooking and cleaning in the same limited frame of time. Especially when it doesn't impact her. I've tried to explain, and just got the point where I didn't want to argue the point." This reply received 5 upvotes. A comment from user Mama_Mush says, "It's a childish. Clean as you go is pretty basic kitchen behavior and helps with final work. However, if she isn't doing it then it doesn't matter." This comment received 12 upvotes. A comment from user Liontender says, "Interesting. How much time per night do you typically spend on the cooking plus serving plus cleaning process?" This comment received 11 upvotes. A reply from the original author 1MMOFF says, "Prep plus cook plus serve equals 30 to 60 minutes generally. Excluding any marinating, thawing, cleaning equals 15. Sometimes I take my sweet time because the little one is in bed and there's literally nothing I can do to help. Sometimes it takes longer because it gets interrupted by poop cleanup duties. This reply received 6 upvotes. A comment from user Rowenstraker says, "Next time offer to let her show you how she does it. I am a professional cook and I can absolutely destroy a kitchen if I'm doing a time-sensitive or extravagant meal. Not everyone can multitask enough to clean as they cook and not let quality suffer." This comment received 11 upvotes. A reply from the original author 1MMOFF says, "The problem being, her idea of cooking is using one board, one knife, and one pot on one temperature. So there isn't much to rush and clean. She isn't a picky eater, but I am. So I've taken up the cooking both as a hobby, and also so I've only myself to blame for a shit meal. I expect no one to clean up after me, if I've used 3 bowls to make a sauce one want." This reply received 3 upvotes. A comment from user Ruskiroulette says, "Gonna be the devil's advocate here. I cook far more than my husband, and I clean as I go. By the time the meal is cooked the kitchen is clean and all we have to do after is put the dishes we ate with in the sink. He cooks, and it's a hurricane. The floor is greasy and sticky. There's powder and smears over every counter, and pots and pans. No ingredients are put away. And after we eat, it's both our problems because we both help out after. And it drives me insane and makes me not want him to cook ever because it's such a chore for me on days I'm supposed to have a break from cooking." This comment received 10 upvotes. A reply from the original author 1MMOFF says, "I appreciate the point there, and would agree it's a point of frustration if you're both involved in the cleaning. Prior to having our kid, it wasn't so much a problem. I could start meal prep at whatever o'clock and finish eating at late o'clock. The problem now, is that prep, cook and serve must happen in a tight window. Which means anything that isn't a hazard or time-sensitive becomes a secondary objective. The place doesn't look like a war zone, but the chopping board, some utensils, and sauce-mixing bowls are going to sit in the sink, aside until later." This reply received 2 upvotes. A comment from user Gribbits37 says, "She doesn't cook or clean, but feels she can complain about the process. Nope. You're NTA. If she wants everything cleaned immediately, she can start cooking the meals." This comment received 35 upvotes.